What's up, guys? My name is Lauren and welcome back to my channel where we talk about money and mindset as well as my family's own journey to pay off six-figure debt. So if you like videos like that, then make sure you hit the red subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos. Today I'm going over our May 2022 budget recap. So every single month on my channel I show you our budget before the month starts, and then I do a recap after the month ends to show you how we did on our budget. And if you like the spreadsheet that I'm using, you can get it for yourself in my Etsy shop. It's an instant download to Google Sheets and it comes with a detailed video tutorial as well as me every single month showing you guys how to use it. It comes with a gross and net budget spreadsheet for both monthly and annual budgeting. And it is a zero-based budget, so you can see the left to budget is zero. That's always zero when I do my budget with me videos at the beginning of the month. And then this is zero at the end of the month when we close out our budget, because what we've actually spent through the month is zero. And all that means is all the income that we expected and that we actually received has been allocated to a category in our budget. So it doesn't mean that we spent every dollar, but it's been allocated to a category. So it may have gone to an expense, it may have gone to investing or debt or even a sinking fund, but every single dollar is accounted for, so we know where our money's going and we can spend intentionally and with confidence. So let's start out by looking at our income for the month. So we had budgeted for $9,124 and we actually received $9,253. So that was a difference of $129. So we made $129 more than we expected this month. And this is net income, so income after taxes and health insurance and all those deductions come out. I go back and forth between using the gross and net budget depending on how I feel and what's going on with our money, but this month we used the net budget spreadsheet. So next, for pay yourself first, which is investing, we invested $100 into my Roth IRA, which is what we had budgeted. So total for investing from our net income this month was $100. And then for debt payments, we also just made our minimum payments. So for my husband's student loan, that was a payment of $830, and for my student loan, that was a payment of $1,882 for a total of $2,712 to debt. And that doesn't include our mortgage, because if we didn't have a mortgage, we would have rent anyway. So I put that in the fixed expenses, and our mortgage is not something we're trying to pay off at this point. We're trying to become debt free from student loans before we even think about paying off a mortgage. So that's why the student loans are the only thing in the debt section. So speaking of fixed expenses, let's take a look at how we did this month. And you can see here, without me even going through any of it, the difference is zero. That's why I call these fixed expenses, because really they are totally fixed and don't really vary that much. So we paid for our condo fee, we paid our mortgage, we paid our life insurance payments for my husband and myself. We each have a policy on our lives. And then we paid for our internet, home security, car insurance, and subscriptions, as well as another miscellaneous expense that I just have blocked out for privacy. So total to fixed expenses for the month of May was $2,481. Now, I have been doing my budget the same way for a while, and I'm kind of getting like a little bit bored of it, and also just want to tweak some things. So next budget that you see, well, I already did my June budget with me, but the July budget, you're going to see I'm toying with moving some things around, like moving gas and cell phone and stuff back into this section rather than having them as sinking funds, because I just feel like I have too many sinking funds right now. Speaking of which, let's just scroll over to the sinking funds. So yeah, I just feel like there's too many sinking funds right now, and it's nice to have a lot, but I feel like some of them aren't necessary because we hover around or close to zero in these sinking funds every single month. So I just don't know that it's doing a whole lot to help us budget better by doing them as sinking funds. And so I may be moving some of these to the fixed expenses, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Sometimes you just got to switch up your budgeting. It's constantly a work in progress to see what works best for your family. So anyway, let's look at these sinking funds. So for our emergency fund, we didn't put anything in this month, but we actually spent $2,500, and this wasn't technically an emergency expense. This was just me paying off my Amex for Invisalign, and there is money in our HSA account that I could pull $2,500 from to replenish this at any point. But because the HSA is an account that there are certain requirements for you to be able to contribute to, and we're not eligible to contribute to it anymore, I've decided to just leave that money in the HSA for now and use it as like money towards our retirement and investing. And if we need to pull from it in the future, we can. But for now, I'm just leaving it in there because it is a triple tax advantaged account. So it's a really great account, and I don't want to pull money out of it if we don't really need it. So technically our emergency fund is now down to $6,500, which doesn't make me feel super happy because I'd really like this closer to $10,000, but at the same time I know that I could grab $2,500 at any point and replenish this up to $9,000 again. And then I do actually have plans in upcoming months to add more to this emergency fund. So yeah, stay tuned for that. All right, for groceries, we had budgeted $1,100 and that's how much we actually put into the sinking fund. We spent $1,095, so our ending balance was $6. And this is one of the sinking funds I'm talking about maybe moving to just our expenses, because this is hovering, it started out with a balance of $1, it's ending with $6. And in my mind, I put it here because I was thinking, if we have a really great month for groceries, then we can start building up a little bit of a reserve in this grocery fund in case we have a really expensive month. But realistically, that's just not happening. We're spending all of our grocery money every single month because groceries are so expensive. So yeah, I think I might move that to the expenses in a future budget. Next, we've got our vacation fund. So we didn't put anything into our vacation fund this month, so that stayed at a balance of $5. For my husband's spending, my spending, and my daughter's spending, we contributed the budgeted amounts to those accounts, but I blocked out the balances and the amount spent just for our privacy. And then for baby number 2, that is actually coming like at the time I'm filming this, and really around the time you're watching it, because I'm only filming it on Sunday and you guys are watching it on Monday. That baby is coming like very soon, less than a month away. So yeah, I'm trying to build up this fund. So I had budgeted $250, but I ended up putting $350 into her fund, and I did spend $86. So we ended with a balance of $630 in there, and I need at least $850 by the end of June because that's how much the cord blood banking costs if we're able to do that during deliveries. So I did want to make sure there was going to be enough in there for the cord blood banking, and so with this balance plus what we're contributing in June, we will hit that number, which is great. And yeah, I can't believe she's going to be here so soon. Next, for kids activities in preschool. Okay, so first of all, this was called kids activities, and then I changed it to kids activities / preschool because we have decided to sign my daughter up for preschool in the fall. So this started out with a balance of $13. We usually budget $250, which is how much we actually put in this month. But because we did sign her up for preschool, we spent $1,281 this month, and that's because the deposit for the preschool was around $1,000. And so it wasn't something we had planned to spend that money on this month, but because we toured some preschools and did a bunch of research and found one we really liked and there were only 2 spots left, we decided to just go for it and make sure she had a spot reserved for the fall and submit the deposit to hold her spot. So we ended this fund with a balance of negative $1,018, which is not great, but it kind of makes sense because we spent an extra $1,000 that we weren't planning on spending when the month started. And that's why I like sinking funds, because this money is all in one account with our emergency fund. So we don't actually have a bank account that's negative, but I'm tracking where we need to replenish money. So over the coming months, we are going to be putting more money into this sinking fund, and particularly in the fall, this is going to increase greatly because of the cost of preschool. So my daughter is going to be going part-time because I am home with her, and I've had her 9 to 5 full time for how long? About a year now. I quit my job about a year ago, and I really, really enjoy the time with her. It's not that I don't want to be with her all the time, but she's 3 at that point, will be almost 3.5. And I just feel like she really will enjoy it. I asked her if she wanted to go to school, and she said yes. And she's telling me she wants a backpack and a lunchbox. And I feel like it'll be so enriching for her life. So it's an experience that's for her benefit. And of course, with another baby on the way, it'll be nice to have a little bit of time where I get one-on-one time with the baby and don't have to wrangle 2 kids. But really the main reason we're doing this is because we think it's what's best for her and her education. So this is going to impact our budget going forward, but that's why you have a budget, so you can figure out what your goals and your priorities are, and then figure out a way to make that happen and pay for them. So our sinking fund recovery plan that we've been working on the past few months has kind of been like sidelined by this expense because this throws everything off a little bit. But that's how life is. You can't always plan exactly for what expenses are going to come up, and so your budget needs to be flexible. All right, next for Miles expenses. Miles is our cat. We budget $200 a month. We spent $83 this month, and this fund had a negative balance before of negative $71. So we ended the month with a positive $46 in his fund. Then for gas, we budgeted $180. Well, no, we budgeted $150. I actually put in $180, and then we actually spent almost $200. So we ended the month at negative $16. And next month and going forward until we get some relief on gas prices, which is hopefully soon, but who knows when, this sinking fund is going to get $200 for gas. And that is really like 3 fill-ups. So gas is just expensive, guys. I'm sure you guys are feeling it too. Next for gifts, we put $125 into that sinking fund. We only spent $40. So we ended the month with $88 there. We didn't do anything for car maintenance. Let's see. Oh yeah. We started out with a balance of negative 42 in that fund, and I had budgeted 171, and then I decided to just put $42 in there and just to zero it out because we didn't have any car maintenance expenses this month, and there were some other funds like baby number 2 and the gas fund and stuff that we ended up increasing from the budget. And also house maintenance was really expensive this month. So I just decided, because there was no car maintenance this month, we could just leave that balance at 0 and then starting next month, try to build it back up. So speaking of house maintenance, we budgeted $250 and we actually put $378, and that was nowhere near enough. We spent $836 on house expenses this month, and it was just an expensive month for home ownership for us, and some months are just like that when you own a home. So this fund ended at negative $347, which isn't great. So of our funds, we've got a negative here and a negative here, but considering, and a little bit negative for the gas. So we will definitely be focusing on getting these funds all positive. Hopefully by the end of next month, we'll have almost everything to a positive number. But yeah, this one's definitely negative, and we have a bunch of money going towards it next month to right side that sinking fund. For cell phone, we always budget $150 and our bill is always $197, so we have $682 in that sinking fund, and then $85 for town, sewer, and water, which we didn't have any bills for that this month, and then $300 for utilities. And we spent $350 for gas and electric, and next month, actually, finally, it's going to be back under $300. I'm so excited. It got up to almost $600 this winter, and it was just crazy. So we ended the month with actually a positive number in this fund, $58 in this fund, which is really, really relieving to see. We made it through an expensive winter utility-wise. And then finally, we budgeted $100 for Christmas / my daughter's birthday. And so my daughter's birthday's past actually was this month. And there's a negative balance here in the spent because I put some cash back into this fund that I had withdrawn in the month of April that we didn't end up using for her birthday party that was at the end of April. So negative $6 from this fund was what was spent, and then we ended the month with a positive balance of $145. So for the rest of the year, we shouldn't be touching this really at all until we get towards November time, because that's when I'll probably start doing some Christmas shopping. But until then, that fund is just going to accumulate a balance as we save for Christmas all year round, so we're not scrambling at the end of the year to pay for everything for Christmas. So let's look at how we did. We started out with $9,653 in sinking funds, but $9,000 of that was emergency funds, so really we only had $653 in our sinking funds besides the emergency fund, and I was trying to increase that number this month. We budgeted $3,831 for sinking funds, and we actually put in $3,960, so a little bit more, but not a lot more. And then we spent just over $7,000, which is just crazy, but part of it is because there was this $2,500 expense for paying off my American Express, and then also an extra $1,000 that was spent from the preschool fund. So yeah, spent $7,000 this month, which is not great when we only put in $3,960. So at the end of the day, we have $6,603 in the sinking fund, $6,500 of which is in our emergency funds. So really there's only like $103 in our sinking funds at this point for all these funds. But if you take away this $1,000 expense that was unexpected that we didn't think we were going to have to pay this month. We actually would have ended with about $1,100 in our sinking funds compared to this $653. So it would have been an improvement in our total sinking fund balance of about $500 from last month to this month if it wasn't for that preschool expense. So I'm still going to count it as a win because that preschool expense, again, is just something that we had looked at and planned for budgeting for in the fall, but we didn't realize we are going to have to give such a big deposit before the school year started. So that will all even out within the next couple months. Okay, so let's take a look at the budgeted summary versus actual summary. So just visually, again, you can see it's pretty close to what we had budgeted just by looking at it. So 1% to pay yourself first is what we had budgeted, and that's what we sent to pay yourself first. And then for debt, we had budgeted 29% of our money to debt, and that's how much went to debt. For fixed expenses, we had budgeted 27%, and 26.8% went towards fixed expenses. And then finally, sinking funds was 42%, and 42.8% went to sinking funds. So overall, we sent our money where we planned this month. It's just how much got spent out of the sinking funds that was a little bit skewed from what I had hoped for. But we will continue to push forward. We will not give up on budgeting. We will not get discouraged by a month being more expensive or different than we had planned for, because we're tracking everything, and so we can make adjustments and just, keep trying to improve things each and every month. So that is it for our May 2022 budget recap. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it interesting and it helps you think about and improve your own budgeting. As I mentioned at the beginning, if you like this spreadsheet, you can get it for yourself in my Etsy shop, which will be linked in the video description. And if you like this video, as always, please give it a big thumbs up. It really helps out my channel. And if you want to see more videos like this from me, then hit that red subscribe button. I'd love to have you as a subscriber, and I'll see you guys soon in my next video. Bye.